Hello, my name is Trydar. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build a Roman Hippodrome and/or Circus Maximus in Minecraft. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is take a tour around our Hippodrome slash Circus Maximus. Now for this is not the Hippodrome or the Circus Maximus. It is a Hippodrome and a Circus Maximus. By that I mean I have combined the best portions of everything you would want in a Hippodrome slash Circus Maximus. But I have added a few extra details, like that over here, that wasn't on the original structures, just to make things a bit more fun. So let's get the 35,000 foot view while we are here. So as you can see, this is meant for chariot racing, which since we don't have chariots in Minecraft, it's going to be for horse racing. So you would start at this end down here, and then you would start racing along the track along here. And as you can see, the pathway narrows to a hairpin turn down here, where you have to make a very sharp turn on your horse and head off to make a lap in the other direction, back around when you started, and you keep going around and around in however many laps it takes to complete the race. So you will notice that the middle section here is noticeably bent, and this was done in the ancient hippodromes to make things a bit more interesting. They were straight when they started, but they did bend a bit more as time went on to sort of compress the contestants down here into this little turn right here to, I think it was actually done to encourage crashes, actually. It's rather gory and awful when you think about it, but that's what they did. So we have that in our hippodrome also. Let's lose a little altitude here. So down here at the entrance, we of course have a very large triumphal arch model. I don't have a tutorial of this arch on its own, but we will be covering it in this. So if you want to, as we go, I should say that there are going to be about 3 or 4 buildings for the price of one in this tutorial, because as you can see, it's quite a large building. So it's going to be a very long tutorial series, probably at least about 10 episodes, I think. If not a couple more, because we are going to be slicing the building up. We're going to start down there at the round end and build that first. Then we're going to build the middle end, and then we're going to build the entranceway down over there. And of course, you can also carve out the arch from what I will be showing you if you want to build one of these on its own. And of course, the hoplite sitting on top of that already has its own tutorial. Indeed, a lot of the statues around here already have their own tutorials as well, like the equestrian statue and the lions and everything. You got the horse though. This is an extremely old horse design. It's been around since just about as long as Minecraft has. But we are going to be covering all these again in detail in this tutorial series, in case you haven't seen them, because there also is this Atlas statue here, holding up the world on his back there. Many of these are modified from original versions made a long time by the Evil Sketch. He has tutorial videos on YouTube, I think, but he hasn't been active in many years. So I will be representing those as we go. So let's take a look at the other side of the front here. So land and get a good view. So we have a suitably grand entranceway for our hippodrome here. And as you can see, I had just enough space to write 4 letters up there in the inscription part on top of the triumphal arch. And of course, we had to go with the SPQNR, standing for Senatus Publiusque Romanus, meaning the Senate and People of Rome. So that is, of course, what that stands for. Very common 4-letter abbreviation for the ancient Roman Empire as a whole. They would inscribe that on a lot of things, most notably on their triumphal arches, and I have carried over that tradition here. So you can indeed have your own very Romanized version of all of this. Of course, we have 2 ornate towers, decorative towers, that are flanking these. These are purely for decoration. There's no way to crawl up inside of them or anything. And of course, we have our Corinthian entablatures and designs. Of course, it's a good Roman building, so we had to use the Corinthian order throughout. Well, the compound Corinthian order. Of course, up here we as well have some diagonal eagle statues. You may recognize these from the recent cathedral tutorial. And up here, we of course finish off with a little round dome on the top here, and some more Roman eagles on the top there. And these eagles, they also have their own tutorial video as well, as does the Spartan hoplite there. So let's take a walk around the exterior. It's going to be quite a long tour just because of how big the building is. But we want to familiarize ourselves with the building if we are going to be constructing one, or if you're just here to watch the tour for ideas of things you might want to build in your own world. I completely understand. We look around here through underneath here. There are going to be several entrances along here. I haven't marked them out with torches or anything. But there's going to be an entranceway here. And there's going to be another one here. And so on and so forth, all the way down. And these are designed to serve as entrances to the seating areas right here, which we've already seen. And of course, they connect through long tunnelways back behind here as well. But if we continue along, we can see we have a nice little paid pattern of alternating, of three materials alternating around like so. We have a double order of stacked Corinthian columns. So as we go, once we build one of these, it'll be easier for you the second time around to build the exterior one, because that is just going to be a copy and paste of each other. But we'll cover that in detail whenever we get to it in the tutorial. Of course, we have our semicircular apse around here at the back, like so. Some of you may recognize this from my Colosseum tutorial, and that is because the seating on the inside of here is the same as what is in the Colosseum tutorial. The columns also are the same, but the entablature has been updated from that model, so that is slightly different, as has the walls behind here. Instead of putting another layer of columns at the back here, we are putting a much more simple, just sort of a brick facade behind there as well. And of course, the other side of this is exactly the same as the one we just looked at, because if we draw a center line, like right here, we land here. So if we draw a center line along here and split this building in two, the right side is going to be a mirror image of the left side on everything except for the central thing here with the statues. This has its own name. It escapes me at the moment. Maybe I'll think of it later. Over here, of course, we have the Emperor's box. We don't have, we only have one Emperor, so we only have one Emperor's box, so we just have seating on this side over here. Of course, here we have the Emperor's throne, suitably made out of diamonds, of course. We can't use cheap materials for the Emperor. And, of course, we have some nice seats over here for the senators and whoever else, for the Empress and members of the court, to sit here and, of course, watch the race below. I tried to get the Emperor's box in a good enough position where we could see the entirety of the race. But there's probably a slightly better view down here from this walkway. So what else is there to see here? Let's take a look. So we do have some decorations on the interior sections here. Behind the Emperor's box, of course, we have to accentuate the Emperor himself. So we have some more sort of like faux Corinthian temple designs back here. It's not an actual temple. It's just solid rock. And, of course, some Roman legionary statues here. Some Praetorians with their diamond swords ready to protect the Emperor. Or kill him, depending on who the Emperor was at the time. But yeah, those are just there for decoration. They don't appear on the exterior of the building. They're just there for for theatrical decoration on the inside. And of course, to be even more decorative, they have the waxed cut copper up here for the acroterions on top of those. Of course, we have more of those over here for decorations on top of the arch itself. And I think that gives you a good enough view of everything there is to see on the Hippodrome here. So this is the building that I'm going to be showing you how to build in what is going to be probably the biggest tutorial I have ever attempted to do to date. And definitely the biggest Roman thing I may ever show you how to build, just because of the sheer size of it. But as you can see, we are putting the Maximus in the Circus Maximus here, so it does have to be pretty big. But I think it's going to be a decent enough scale for you to actually be able to construct over the long term anyway. Because I expect that this is probably going to take you a couple of maybe a couple of months to build, even if you do have help. Because I would think that a structure like this here is best done as part of like a community build. In other words, if you're going to be building this on a server, you can have like a lot of people help you. You can have like a team dedicated to gathering the materials and like a team dedicated to doing the building itself. That is how I would do it. I think this is best suited for a server collaborative project. I think it's possible to do if you want to try and fly solo on it. But be warned, it is going to take you quite a long time to do that. Now, I mentioned earlier something about having 3 or 4 structures of the price of one in this building, and I want to go ahead and over here and show you some examples of that. So, as you can see here, I made reference that the round end over there was basically my Roman Colosseum tutorial. So, I have pasted that in here and just mirror imaged it, and as you can see, we do indeed have another Roman Colosseum right here that you can build. The seat pattern is exactly the same and everything, as are the columns. Only the entablature details along the ring here is different, and this one, of course, doesn't have the awning, the big red awning on top of it either. But that is something you can add if you want to. Because I know some people have found the Colosseum tutorial to be a little difficult in some stages. So in order to do that, on this tutorial series, we are going to be taking things one slice at a time. Because it is such a large building that, well, except for like on some of the parts where we get to the very top at the end, we'll go a little bit faster on that. But for the rest of it, we're going to be doing things one slice at a time. And that's going to be a first slice, well, almost after we do the foundation here. That's going to be our first slice over there for that. But as you can see, if during this you use the first couple of parts of the tutorial to build half of this Colosseum here, or rather half of this Hippodrome, of the round end of it, and then mirror all of that again, you can get yourself a nice looking Colosseum over here as well. And if you refer back to the Roman Colosseum tutorial that I've done, you can put a nice awning on that as well. It's different in a lot of its details, but it's like, you know, it's like 90% the same, I would say. We don't have the columns on the inside down here, though. We just have the wall. But if you want to maybe extend the line where you cut that into, instead of cutting it right here, you like move it a bit over, you can extend it into a sort of elliptical arena here, and you can get yourself a funny looking elliptical type Colosseum. And I may be wrong, this may be something similar was built like this. I think it was in Leptis Magna, if I'm not mistaken. I would have checked my references on that. But I have seen something like this made in one of the Roman provinces out in their cities, out there. So I thought it was worth mentioning here. But if you want to carry that another step farther and add these sections here where you perhaps want an emperor's box, like so, and you could build the apse and then the middle end, and then just slice that into and build the rest of it again. you can have a very large elliptical sort of stadium here. I'm not exactly sure what you would want to use this one for, but it does look pretty neat. So this is another option for you to get more out of this tutorial video series than just one hippodrome. You can get another coliseum, an elliptical coliseum, and even more elliptical coliseum after that, or you can get a hippodrome without the round end on it. So let's land here and take a look at this. So as you can see here, that's our familiar entrance, and over on the other side here, we have, of course, another entrance. And all we've done is slice this building right down the middle, right here, and built half of it over there, and then mirrored and also flipped to get half of that over there to get the lettering right. And we want to have the statue facing each other the right way as well. Yeah, that is going to be, I think, about all there is for the tour of this tutorial. So as you can see, you can get several buildings for the price of one tutorial out of this. It's going to be, as I said, quite a few parts. And with that, one of the things I want to do today is we're going to talk about the materials list, and then we're going to talk about the foundation. And after that, I think we will begin the tutorial in earnest with the round part and the next part there. So now regarding the materials list, I am going to place a copy of this in the video description, so you can also just look at it there as well. But I do want to talk about these individually because there are a few things to say. Over here, now first off, I want to now don't be afraid. I want to say that these numbers I'm going to be showing you here are the maximum estimate you would need. In other words, I tend to build everything solid, so this number is going to be rather high. I think you could probably get away with about perhaps half this amount of cobblestone. You won't need the full 475, almost 500,000 blocks of cobblestone for this. If you build some sections hollow, like if you build the first layer of the base down here at the bottom hollow, you can save yourself about 35,000 blocks of cobblestone. So if you keep being economical and build things more as a shell, especially the towers and everything, and a lot of the sections underneath the seating here, you can get away with a lot less cobblestone than what I'm showing you here. However, you may need, this is 95,000 blocks of diorite. You may only need about, I don't know, maybe 80,000 blocks. In some sections, I made things a little bit too thick, but you might want to make sure that you gather enough of that. You will be needing, more specifically, 37,885 blocks of cobbled deep slate. For the floor, where the charioteers race around, you will need 13,833 blocks of sand, 1,022 blocks of gold ore, 379 blocks of lapis. Oh, I want to say, by the way, the material counts here, this includes everything for the statues down the middle of the raceway as well. I just wanted to be clear about that. So we will also be needing 48 blocks of sandstone. I think that's going to be for the Atlas statue. That's going to be where all the sandstone goes. For the detailing for the acroterions and everything up there at the decorations on the top of things, we'll be needing 1,536 blocks of waxed cut copper, stage 1, before it's oxidized any. 3,371 cobblestone slabs. 8,465 stone slabs. These are the stone slabs we will be using for the seating. So this coincidentally also tells you how many people you could presumably get seated inside of the Hippodrome here, I think. I don't know if you can actually get that many people on a server before it crashed, though. But you could try. 4,155 deep slate tile slabs. 13 sandstone slabs. 392 stone brick slabs, 101 quartz slabs, 446 blocks of obsidian. Also, if you don't want to have the obsidian, you can substitute perhaps some polished black stone for that instead. And 89 blocks of diamonds for all the statues and everything. But if that's a little bit too expensive, you can substitute the sea lanterns 4 diamonds in that. 12,014 cobblestone stairs. You're pretty much going to need all those. 4 blocks of netherrack or 4 campfires for the braziers on the Emperor's box. 106 blocks of glowstone and a more round number of 54,000 stone bricks. As I said, if you build things hollow, you can get away with less than that. Perhaps only 40,000 stone bricks. You will, however, need all 2,590 chiseled stone bricks and all 26,125 stone brick stairs. Don't think we can save anything there. 692 deep slate tiles, 370 deep slate tile stairs, 48 sandstone stairs, again for the Atlas statue. 1,990 cobblestone walls. For some of the statues, it's 23 redstone blocks, or perhaps just some red wool, if you prefer. 710 quartz blocks, 27 chiseled quartz, 22 pillar quartz. I think this is just for like the Emperor's Emperor's box, and some of the statues is where the quartz goes. 409 quartz stairs, 24 end rods, and lastly, for the roof detailing, we will of course need 7,495 blocks of red nether brick. Oh boy. All right, so as far as different types of materials, it's about average. But as far as numbers of materials go, it's extreme. I know. I am aware. I've tried to tell you during the explanation where we can save materials, like on the diorite, the stone bricks, and the cobblestone are places where we can save a lot of materials, mostly on the cobblestone. But otherwise, as you can see, this is a massive building. So we're going to need a correspondingly massive amount of materials to be able to make it. So with that said, we need to talk about the foundation here lastly today. So the dimensions of the building are as follows. It is 348 blocks long from the front here all the way to the back, from the front tower all the way to the back here. That's going to be 348. Across the front, it is going to be 147 blocks wide. And as you let me get a little bit altitude. It's going to be 147 from there all the way to over there. And the final height of the building should come out to be 145 blocks. And that 145, by the way, is going to be measured from down here, by the way. Because that's going to be including this little pavement here that, as you can see, it's even with the grass. So we have to start there for that. That's where we're going to be placing all of our sand, by the way. So when you are doing this, you want to make sure, perhaps check 2 or 3 times, that the dimensions for the foundation are 348 by 147. Never mind the height. That's not really important right now. But I mean, you may even want to make you get your F3 coordinates or whatever, and math those out and make sure, and also maybe count it out with blocks. Maybe use a couple of methods to make sure you've got the foundation right, because this here, of course, is foundational, to use a bad pun there. So we do want to make sure we get it correct. As I said, this is a level where we can save a lot of cobblestone also, because if you start by just using a rectangle and leaving this level back here hollow, and just have dirt or whatever is on the space that you cleared for that, and just make a big rectangle of 348 by 147, that is where we will start. So I'm going to assume that you've already done that. And let me see. I think that I'm going to include this this bottom layer that's even with this layer. The first layer here is going to be, I guess, 2 layers, because we're going to do this one here even with the ground. But on top of that, we then want to make the base for the platform. It's not the base of the Hippodrome, it's the base of the platform for the Hippodrome. Because if I go over here, you can see we have a little slice here. So this here is going to be corresponding to this level here. So we're going to be building the first 2 levels, and behind that we will be building 3 more steps back for the towers, but along here it's only going to be 2 steps there. So everything below this level you can just leave hollow, or just leave whatever it is on your build. Perhaps it might be a little bit easier for you, instead of clearing out the entire thing, if maybe you just level around your hippodrome a bit more. I keep wanting to call it the Colosseum. Probably going to be making that mistake a few times. And at the very end, we will double back and come look at all the statues and everything to get that part as well. But today, we just want to lay out our base, which means I have to do an awful lot of counting. And one thing we want to do here is mark our center line as well. So if I take a little red wool here and mark our center line, like so, you remember earlier I said that we can divide this building in twain, meaning that this side will be identical to this side over here. So as we go throughout the tutorial, ignoring the diagonal in the middle, I will be focusing in on one half of the building, and I will rely on you to mirror it on the other side. Because since you've already built it once, you can directly see what you need to build again. So you should have a pretty good handle on that. But, as I said, for this first part here, just build a big rectangle with the dimensions. It's just a rectangle on this end. There's nothing really important. I will number off everything for the arc on the middle, though. But let's go back here from our sign and begin counting from our reference point. All right. So from this point here, and I don't want to break my sign, so just pretend I counted 1 here. Then we're going to count for 2, 3, 4. "31 blocks to get to that point there." And let me double count that just to make sure. 2, 3. There we are, 31 blocks to get to that point there. And I'll use the slabs, so you can count it perhaps and double check me. Remember, there's supposed to be like a slab on top of the sign, though. And so, there. Therefore, that. And then we want to come in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. And then we want to continue our cobble for 1. Well, turning the corner here and counting that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13 blocks, and then turn for 4 blocks. A couple of these blocks we want to be stone bricks, as you can see, and then come across for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks, all in stone bricks. Then 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 2, and what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 blocks for that section there, all in stone bricks. For 2, then 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 2, and then we have a really long run of I don't have any idea how much that is, of a lot of cobbled deep slate, and but we will come back to that in a moment. So for the red wool here, I'm just using this as a pointing device. The block you want to be placing is directly below this. So as we go, I'm just using this as the counting device, as a visual aid, because as you can see, this building here is far too vast to attempt to do anything like a block-by-block tutorial. So I have to simplify things in order to get any type of video made for you. So we're going to be going slice by slice, phase by phase, in that method to finish the building, as I generally do in these types of larger tutorials. Let me just give you a top-down view of the plaza pattern here at the front. It's a very simple interlocking square design from my Roman road tutorial of diorite, cobble, and cobble deep slate, and then you just reverse that with diorite, cobble, and cobble deep slate, just to make a series of nesting squares, like so. Build that along the front here, and you can see a more complete pattern of this at the front there. And what you did over here with the front, you want to just extend in a straight line, by the way, all the way back from here. All the way back from here, well, actually right there. You want to extend a straight line of cobblestone back for 348, like I said. And across the back, you want to extend one for 147. But across the front, which I have counted out for you, that line will be broken a little bit with the details for the front, because here we're going to have the footprints for the towers that we're going to build, as well as the very bottom course for our triumphal arch that you saw over there. Well, we can't see it anymore. That's incised into the building. Therefore, that. And let's see. So, let's talk about that diagonal thing last. Let's go back here to the back, and let's measure from my diagonal and count from that just about how far back we need to go. Well, actually, I'm not sure on diagonal. I think it ought to work. So back here, if you've measured correctly, we want to count from here in a 45-degree diagonal. We want to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 17, 18. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Oh, goodness. 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. 55 blocks. And I'm going to go back again and count this. We're going to count this with the slabs to make sure I measured that correctly, because it's too important not to. Okay, so that comes out, at least in my head, to be 55 blocks for both. So if you want to count a diagonal off of that, this should help you sight this section here. So from there, using the cobble deep slate, which I'm going to be placing on top of a red wool here, from our diagonal, and I think this should intersect the diagonal of the arc anyway. We want to count for 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 3 again, and I think we can probably ignore that block there and count for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this here. The 6th block in the middle there should mark out our center line, which divides the building in two. And just to make sure that it does, let me land on top of this here. And let's follow that all the way back to the front. And make sure that lines up with our center line. Yep. Okay, well, we got that one good. Fly back down to the other end. We want to build the other end of the arc of the apse for our Hippodrome, for the interior arc. Well, here from that point, we want to count 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 3, and then a lot. But no idea how much that is. I will, for the purposes of the video, I will count out however long this is going to be with MC Edit, and I will put that number on the screen now. Okay, so for the next portion, I think we want to take our center line and then extend it off in this direction. And let's count with the slabs, I think. We'll count for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For 23 blocks. I'm going to show this to you here in case you want to double check that and make sure that that is 23 blocks. Very occasionally I will miscount something by 1 block because there is so much counting to do. So that's just an error on my part. But I like to show this to you so you can double check me, so that when you are building these things, you don't make mistakes. So here we're going to be building the long diagonal thing down the middle. I should have looked up the name of that. I'm sure it has a name. But from here we're going to count this. I think we'll count it with the red wool. So from here we want to go 1 block over and count for 1, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1 here. And I think we need to go all the way down pretty much for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 blocks. And then again for 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 12, 13, 20 blocks. And then that should be another 20 blocks here. But let's count it again and make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so that's going to be 20 blocks there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's what I thought. So except for the end pieces, all the little ones in the middle are going to be 20 blocks long. And as you can see, as we go, you're going to be shifting them over to make the diagonal. So I think it was 18 blocks for this one where we started. And then you want to shift that over and build 20 blocks by, what's that square going to be? Well, rectangle. It's going to be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's going to be 9 by 20. And then you want to shift that over and build another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You want to build another rectangle of 9 by 20. And then a third rectangle of 9 by 20. And then a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh, an eighth, and not a ninth. Because down here, where we would, I think this is going to be probably another 18. So this is going to be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the same deal we had there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it still should be the same 9 blocks across there. All right. So you want to build, what was that, 8 modules of 9 by 20 in the middle. And of course, the end portions are going to be the same. They're going to be 9 by 18. Well, I guess they are 9 by 20 if you count the two extra blocks on the end. So we just want to slice these off, these 3 extra blocks on the side there. And just to make sure you got the lengths of these right, we are going to go back down to the other end here from, I think, let's count from this block here we're going to make another measurement down over to where that ends, just to make sure we got it correct. We can't have numbering mistakes this early. It would mess up everything. So, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 30. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 50. 51, 52. What? 53. Turn the corner. Turn the corner and count for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. And that should take you to that section there to make sure that you got that correct. So let me try and get a good top-down view of this here. Hopefully that would be legible for you to see. If you want to double count that with the more visible textures of the stone slabs and everything, so you can make sure that we got that correct. And once you have done that and the bit on the end, you can go ahead and fill in the long section of however many blocks of cobble deep slate that came out to be. But I think that's going to be all the time we have for today. For part 1, we got the tour out of the way. We've seen the entire building. I've told you the bad news about all the materials that you will be needing to collect to construct the building. At least the most you would need. As I said, if you build things hollow and everything, you can save a lot of materials on this. I also want to remind you that the world download will be available here in part 1 for this entire world here, for all the phases and the reference models and everything. If you want to come here and take a look at these for yourself, or just take a schematic, or maybe just take a copy in case you really don't want to build the entire thing yourself, you just want a copy, you can take that too, I understand. And I want to say also, if you are going to be doing this flying solo, it's important to take breaks on this sort of build, because this is a monster build, even by my standards. It's a very large build, and it's okay if you just want to do a bit of work on it and take a break and go build something else for a while. I do that all the time myself. So if you get too flustered, just set it down and walk away, and you can always come back to it later after you've had a rest. But of course, Minecraft is always a lot more fun with friends, so this would be a good ideal thing for a vast server project. Say if you got like a dozen people on your server, you can have like a lot of people help build things and gather materials, and in the end, you will be able to get it done a lot faster and have a lot of fun also. But as I said, that's all we have today for part 1, so I want to thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you next time.